Have you ever walked into someone's home and immediately felt calm? Not because the place was expensive, not because it looked like a magazine, but because everything seemed to have a place. And maybe, without even thinking about it, you wondered, what kind of person lives like this? Most people assume the answer is simple. They think a clean home means someone is disciplined, or organized, or maybe even a little obsessed with control. But psychology suggests something much more interesting, because a clean home is not always about cleaning. Sometimes it's about what the mind is trying to protect. Every object around us quietly competes for our attention. A pile of clothes on a chair, a coffee mug on the desk, a stack of papers on the counter, shoes near the door, books left open on the floor. None of these things are shouting, but the brain still notices them. And for some people, each unfinished object sends a tiny message. Don't forget this. This still needs to be handled. This is not done yet. Now, consciously, they may not be thinking about the mess. They may not even be able to explain why the room feels stressful. But their nervous system is still responding. That's why two people can stand in the exact same room and experience two completely different realities. One person barely notices the clutter. Another person feels a low, invisible tension they can't fully explain until the room is finally put back in order. Neither person is wrong. They're just processing the same environment through different nervous systems. And this is where the psychology becomes important, because many people who keep their homes clean are not trying to impress anyone. They clean when nobody is watching. They straighten the room before sitting down alone. They put the dishes away even if no guests are coming. They organize the desk before they can focus. From the outside, it might look like discipline, but from the inside, it often feels more like relief. The room becomes quieter. The mind has fewer things to track. The body can finally exhale. As strange as it sounds, one of the most powerful feelings the human brain can experience is not excitement, achievement, or even happiness. It is the quiet feeling that things are under control. Human beings naturally look for patterns. We look for predictability. We look for signals that the world around us is manageable. When our environment feels predictable, the brain does not have to spend as much energy scanning for problems. It can focus, it can rest, it can think more clearly. And this helps explain why cleaning can become something much deeper than a household chore. Imagine coming home after a long, draining day. Your mind is scattered. Work conversations are still replaying in your head. There are emails you have not answered, decisions you have not made, responsibilities waiting for tomorrow. Then you open the door. The floor is clear. The desk is organized. The dishes are put away. Nothing is demanding your attention. Now, the room has not solved a single problem. Your bills are still there. Your deadlines still exist. The difficult conversation you've been avoiding is still waiting. But your brain experiences something important. It no longer has to process dozens of unfinished visual signals at once. And sometimes, that small reduction in mental noise is enough to make a person feel more grounded. Psychologists often describe attention as a limited resource. Your brain only has so much bandwidth. And everything in your environment asks for a small piece of that bandwidth. A stack of mail says, "Open me." Laundry says, "Fold me." Dirty dishes say, "Clean me." A messy desk says, "Sort me out before you begin." Individually, these things may seem small, but together, they create what researchers often call cognitive load. In everyday language, cognitive load is just the amount of information your brain is trying to manage at one time. And this is not just a nice metaphor. Research from the Princeton Neuroscience Institute has suggested that visual clutter competes for your brain's attention at the level of the visual cortex. In simple terms, when too many objects are fighting for your eyes, they are also fighting for your brain. Your mind has to work harder to filter what matters from what does not. And other studies on home environments have found that people who describe their homes as cluttered or unfinished often show higher levels of stress throughout the day, including patterns associated with the stress hormone cortisol. So when someone says, "I can't relax until the room is clean," they may not just be being dramatic. Their brain may genuinely be trying to reduce sensory pressure. Their body may be trying to move out of a subtle stress response. That's why cleaning can feel calming. Not because the person loves cleaning, but because once the environment becomes simpler, the mind has fewer signals to fight through. Of course, this does not mean everyone with a clean home has a highly sensitive nervous system, and it definitely does not mean a messy room equals a messy mind. Human behavior is never that simple. Some people are perfectly comfortable in clutter. Some people are creative in spaces that look chaotic to everyone else. Some people genuinely do not notice visual disorder until it becomes extreme. And some people are messy not because they don't care, but because life is heavy. Burnout can make simple routines feel impossible. Grief can drain the energy needed to maintain order. Depression can turn everyday tasks into mountains. Stress can push cleaning to the bottom of the list because the brain is trying to survive something more urgent. So we have to be careful. A clean home is not proof that someone has life figured out. And a messy home is not proof that someone has failed. Both can tell very different stories. But for people who naturally keep their homes clean, the habit often serves a quiet emotional function. It gives them clarity. It gives them predictability. It gives them one small corner of life where things make sense. And when the outside world feels uncertain, that can matter more than we realize. There is also another layer here. Our relationship with order often starts much earlier than we think. Long before we build adult habits, our brains are learning what feels safe. As children, we absorb the emotional atmosphere around us. We notice whether home feels peaceful or unpredictable, whether routines are stable or chaotic, whether adults around us are calm or reactive. And sometimes, without consciously realizing it, we carry those lessons into adulthood. For someone who grew up in a stable and predictable home, cleaning may simply feel normal. It is something you do before guests arrive, or before starting the week, or because the space works better that way. There may not be much emotional weight attached to it, but for someone who grew up around emotional unpredictability, cleaning can mean something different. Imagine a child living in a home where some days are peaceful and other days are tense. They cannot control the mood of the adults around them. They cannot decide whether the day will be calm or chaotic. They cannot make the emotional environment predictable. But they can control small things. They can make the bed, organize a desk, line up books, fold clothes, put things in their proper place. These actions may seem tiny, but psychologically, they can offer something powerful, a small experience of certainty inside an uncertain world. This is connected to what psychologists call perceived control. That does not mean controlling other people. It means having the feeling that at least some part of life is understandable, predictable, and manageable. And even small rituals can give the nervous system that message. This part is handled. This part is safe. This part makes sense. That may be one reason people often clean more during stressful periods. Think about it. Have you ever had an important deadline, a difficult conversation, or an uncertain situation ahead of you, and suddenly you felt the urge to clean your room? At first, it looks like procrastination. Why organize your desk when you have a bigger problem to solve? But from the brain's perspective, the behavior makes sense. Cleaning has a clear beginning, a visible transformation, and a satisfying ending. You can see progress. You can feel completion. And when life feels complicated, the brain often reaches for tasks that provide immediate feedback. The problem may not be solved, but for a moment, the mind feels capable again. This is why cleaning can feel strangely therapeutic, not because a vacuum cleaner has magical powers, but because repetitive, purposeful action can anchor attention in the present moment. For a little while, the mind stops jumping between yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's worries. It focuses on something tangible, a surface being wiped clean, a blanket being folded, a shelf being organized, a floor becoming clear. Each action tells the brain, I can do one thing, I can finish one thing, I can bring a little order into this moment. And sometimes, that is exactly what the nervous system needs. But there is one more reason clean spaces affect us so deeply. Our surroundings are not just places where life happens. They actively shape how we think, feel, and behave. Every room becomes part of the information our brain is processing. Lighting affects mood. Noise affects focus. Colors affect energy. Textures affect comfort. Objects affect attention. The space around us is always communicating. A clean room might whisper, "You can rest now." A cluttered room, for some people, might quietly repeat, "Don't forget me, I'm still unfinished." Again, this is not true for everyone. Some people feel inspired by what others would call clutter. A writer may work best surrounded by books, notes, and half-finished ideas. An artist may need materials spread out to feel connected to the work. A researcher may have a desk that looks messy but contains a personal system that makes perfect sense to them. So the real question is not, is this space clean? The better question is, does this space support the way your mind works? Psychologists sometimes call this person-environment fit. In simple terms, it means we tend to feel better when our surroundings match our psychological needs. One person may feel peaceful in a minimalist room. Another person may find that same room cold, empty, and uninspiring. One person may need clear surfaces to focus. Another may feel creative when surrounded by projects, books, and visual reminders. There is no single correct way to live. The important thing is whether your environment helps your mind feel settled or quietly drains your attention. For people who keep their homes clean, the answer is often very clear. Order helps them think. Order helps them slow down. Order helps them feel emotionally balanced. Not perfectly happy, not free from stress, just a little more able to breathe. And that matters, because small routines can become sources of stability, especially when life feels uncertain. Making the bed, opening the curtains, clearing the table, putting things back where they belong. These actions may seem ordinary, but the brain often responds to ordinary things in extraordinary ways. Each completed task becomes a small signal of agency. It says, I still have some influence over my world. And when larger problems feel overwhelming, that signal can be deeply comforting. There is also an identity piece here. Human beings are always asking themselves one quiet question, even if they never say it out loud. Who am I? Most of us think identity is built through big things, careers, relationships, achievements, failures, major life choices. But identity is also built through small actions repeated every day. Every habit becomes a vote for the kind of person we believe ourselves to be. For someone who consistently keeps their home clean, the habit may eventually become part of their self-concept. I am someone who takes care of my environment. I am someone who finishes what I start. I am someone who creates calm instead of chaos. They may never say these sentences out loud, but the behavior reinforces the identity. And the identity reinforces the behavior. That is why lasting habits are rarely built on willpower alone. Willpower comes and goes. Identity is more stable. If someone cleans only because guests are coming over, the motivation depends on the situation. But if someone cleans because order feels connected to who they are, the behavior becomes much more consistent. It no longer feels like a punishment. It feels natural. But even here, we need compassion. Identity is not fixed. Someone who has lived in clutter for years is not trapped forever. And someone who has always kept an immaculate home can go through a season where even basic routines become difficult. Stress changes habits. Illness changes habits. Grief changes habits. Major life transitions change habits. So if your home does not look the way you want it to right now, that does not mean you are lazy. It may mean your mind is carrying more than usual. And if keeping your space clean helps you feel calm, that does not mean you are controlling. It may mean your nervous system finds peace in predictability. Both truths can exist. This is why psychology asks us to replace judgment with curiosity. Instead of seeing a spotless home and assuming they have everything together, we can wonder, what quiet routines help this person feel grounded? Instead of seeing a cluttered room and assuming they don't care, we can ask, what invisible burdens might already be using their energy? Because the same behavior can come from different emotional landscapes, and different behaviors can serve the same psychological need. One person calms their mind by organizing a bookshelf. Another finds peace through gardening. Someone else feels centered while cooking, or journaling, or painting, or taking a long walk at the end of the day. The activity matters less than the function it serves. What the brain is often seeking is not perfection. It is regulation. A moment when the nervous system shifts from constant noise into quiet stability. And maybe that is the deepest insight hidden inside this everyday habit. A clean home does not prove intelligence. It does not guarantee emotional health. It does not measure discipline, worth, or success. But it can reveal the remarkable way human beings shape their outer world in an effort to care for their inner one. Sometimes, the most ordinary habits are really quiet conversations between the mind and the environment. A folded blanket says, "This part is complete." A cleared table says, "There is space to begin again." An organized shelf says, "Progress does not always arrive through dramatic breakthroughs." Sometimes peace is built through one small, gentle choice at a time. Ending plus actionable advice plus CTA. So what does it really mean when someone consistently keeps their house clean? The honest answer is, there is no single answer. One person cleans because it helps them think clearly. Another cleans because it gives them comfort during uncertain times. Someone else simply enjoys the quiet satisfaction of finishing a task. And none of these reasons is better than another. What matters is understanding that everyday habits often carry meanings much deeper than they first appear. A clean home is not a badge of superiority. A messy home is not a sign of failure. They are both surfaces. And beneath the surface, every person is carrying a story we cannot fully see. But if you are listening to this and thinking, I want my space to feel calmer, but I don't even know where to start, there are 3 gentle principles that can help. Not rules, not pressure, just starting points. The first principle is this: shrink the starting point. Most people wait until the mess becomes overwhelming before they start cleaning, but by then, the task feels too big. The brain looks at the whole room and says, I can't do all of this. So don't start with the whole room. Start smaller. Clear 1 cup, fold 1 blanket, put away 1 pair of shoes, wipe 1 corner of the desk. The goal is not to transform your entire home in one burst of motivation. The goal is to lower the resistance so much that beginning feels almost effortless. Because once the brain experiences one small completion, it often becomes easier to continue. Not always, but often enough. The second principle is habit stacking. This simply means attaching a tiny cleaning action to something you already do. While the coffee is brewing, clear the counter. After brushing your teeth, put one thing back where it belongs. Before you sit down to work, take 30 seconds to reset your desk. Before going to bed, return one small area to neutral. The power of this is that you are not trying to create a brand new life from scratch. You are simply placing a small act of order next to a habit that already exists. And over time, your brain begins to connect the two. Coffee becomes the cue for clearing. Brushing your teeth becomes the cue for resetting. Ending the day becomes the cue for creating a softer tomorrow. The third principle is to ritualize the process. Because if cleaning feels like punishment, your brain will naturally resist it. So make it feel less like a chore and more like a ritual. Play music you actually enjoy. Listen to a podcast that makes you feel grounded. Open a window, light a candle, move slowly. Let the process become a way of returning to yourself, not criticizing yourself. You are not cleaning because you are behind. You are not cleaning because you are failing. You are creating an environment where your nervous system can feel a little safer, a little clearer, a little more at home. And remember, the goal is not a perfect house. The goal is a space that supports your mind. A space that helps you breathe. A space that quietly says, you can begin again here. Maybe the real lesson is not about cleaning at all. Maybe it is about learning to look beyond appearances. Because when we understand that even the smallest habits can reflect deeper emotional needs, we become less judgmental, more compassionate, and more curious about the quiet complexity of the human mind. If this helped you see an ordinary habit from a new perspective, take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments. Does an organized space help you feel calmer? Or do you find peace in a completely different way? And if this resonated with you, consider subscribing, because sometimes the psychology behind everyday life is where we learn the most about ourselves. And if your space is clean, but your mind is still running the unresolved loops of the past, you'll want to watch this next breakdown right here, where we decode the psychology of our emotional age. I'll meet you there. Deep Ravines Lab Protocol. Characters and stories are AI-generated for motivational insights. 2. Content is curated for entertainment and exploring the messiness of human psyche. 3. No proselytizing or harmful content.